Chidi, don't tell me you are sleeping already. I just come now. Hold me small. Babe. Oh.
Let me see something so you know the difference.
I don't know what to do. He said he would share it if I didn't do what he wanted.
I didn't notice it at first. You know how it is when you are in love. Everything seems perfect, even the strange things. Chidi and I had been dating for 8 months when he suggested we move in together. I was excited about it, and everything felt right. We had been living together for 3 good months now, and I was still learning his habits. But Chidi had this one habit that was starting to bother me. Every time we made love and I reached that peak, that moment when my body was shaking and I was calling his name, he would suddenly go still. Not the good kind of still, the wrong kind. His breathing would change immediately. Deep, slow, fake sleep breathing. The kind you do when you are pretending for your mother as a child. Chidi, I would whisper, still catching my breath, and nothing. I would shake his shoulder gently. Baby, are you sleeping? He would mumble something and turn away from me, just like that. He was gone to the world. The first few times, I thought maybe the man was just tired. We had been working long hours, and men can be very funny about these things. Maybe he was one of those people who fall asleep immediately after sex. But something was bothering me about it. The timing was too perfect, too exact. I started paying attention, really paying attention. We would be kissing, touching, and he was fully present. His eyes were open, looking into mine, while his hands were moving on my body, like he was reading a map he had memorized. He would whisper my name, Nkem, my heart, and I could feel him responding to every sound I was making. Then the moments would build, my breathing would get faster, and I could feel myself getting close. His movement would become more intense, like he was chasing something too. But the exact second my body started shaking with pleasure, everything would change. His eyes would close immediately. His body would go limp. The deep fake breathing would start. It was like someone was switching off a light inside him. This is strange. I told my sister Maria when she was visiting last weekend. What kind of strange? She asked while she was braiding my hair in the sitting room. He pretends to sleep immediately after we... You know now. Amara's hands stopped moving. Immediately? Like right when you finished right there. Yes, right when I'm still shaking. She was quiet for a long time. Then she continued braiding my hair, but I could feel her thinking, maybe he's just shy, she finally said, but her voice had changed. I decided to test out my theory. If Chidi was really falling asleep, then the timing shouldn't be so perfect every time. That night, we were in bed and things were building up nicely. I could feel myself getting close, but instead of letting it happen naturally, I faked it. I arched my back, made the usual sound, shook my body like I was climaxing. Chidi stayed awake. His eyes remained open while he kept moving, kept touching me, waiting for the real thing. My heart started beating fast, and not from pleasure. He knew. He could tell the difference between real and fake, which meant he was paying very close attention to my body, which meant the sleeping was definitely not real. Are you close, baby? He whispered in my ear. I nodded, and this time, I let it happen for real. The moment my body started shaking for real, his eyes snapped shut. The fake breathing started immediately. I lay there in darkness, staring at the face. Even in the dim light from the window, I could see his eyelid weren't completely relaxed. There were tension there, like he was concentrating on keeping them closed. How do you ask your boyfriend why he pretends to sleep when you orgasm? What kind of conversation is that? Chidi, I notice you fake sleep every time I climax. Is there a reason for this unusual behavior? It sounds crazy even thinking about it, but the pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. We had been intimate 12 times since I started counting, and it happened every single time. Not 11 times, not 10 times. Every single time we did it together. I tried to think of reasons. Maybe he felt awkward about my reactions. Maybe he thought I was too loud. Maybe he was embarrassed about something. But none of those reasons made sense to me. If he was embarrassed, why would he initiate it so often? Why would he seem so into it until that exact moment? I started watching him during the day too, looking for other signs of strange behavior. He was normal, loving, attentive, funny. He would cook for me while I was getting ready for work, massage my feet when I came home tired, and listen to me complain about my boss. He seemed genuinely happy to be with me, but there was something else I noticed. Sometimes, when I wasn't looking directly at him, I would catch him staring at me with this expression I couldn't read, I couldn't understand. No, it's not love, not lust. Something else I couldn't place my hand on. Something that was making my skin feel cold. I know it sounds terrible, but I had to know what was happening. I set up my phone to record us. I hid it behind some books on the shelf next to our bed, angled so it would capture both of us. That night, everything happened the same way. The build-up, the intensity, his complete attention on me while we were making love. Then, the moment I climaxed, he went completely still and started the fake sleeping. But this time, I had proof. The next morning, while he was taking his shower, I watched the video. What I saw made my hands shake. The moment I started climaxing, Chidi's face changed completely. For just a few seconds before he closed his eyes and started pretending to sleep, his expression was different. He looked disgusted, not tired, not satisfied, not embarrassed, disgusted, like he had just witnessed something that was making him sick. But it was more than that. There was something else in his expression, something that looked almost like hatred. I watched that part of the video 5 times, and each time I was more sure of what I was seeing. My boyfriend was looking at me with hatred and disgust at the moment of my greatest pleasure. I couldn't pretend anymore. That evening, after dinner, I decided to ask him directly, Chidi, can we talk about something? He was washing dishes and he glanced at me over his shoulder. Of course, baby. What's on your mind? It's about when we make love. His hands stopped moving, didn't turn around, but I could see his shoulders tensing. What about it? You always fall asleep immediately after I finished. Every single time. The silence stretched between us while he was standing there. He resumed washing the plate in his hands, but his movements were different now, careful and controlled. I don't know what you mean, he said finally. Yes, you do. The moment I climax, you pretend to be asleep. Why, Chidi? He turned around then, and his face was calm and too calm. Nkem, I think you're imagining things. Sometimes men fall asleep after sex. It's just normal. Not like this. Not at the exact same moment every time. His eyes were watching me carefully now, like he was deciding something. Are you saying I'm lying to you? There was something in his voice that made me step backward. Something cold. I'm not accusing you of anything. I just want to understand. He dried his hands slowly while never taking his eyes off me. There is nothing to understand. You're being paranoid. But the way he said it, the way he was looking at me, made me realize something terrible. He wasn't going to tell me the truth. And there was a reason he wasn't going to tell me the truth. I couldn't sleep that night. Chidi was lying next to me, breathing his real sleeping breath now. And I was staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of everything. I got up quietly and went to the sitting room with my laptop. I started searching online while he was sleeping. Boyfriend, pretends to sleep after sex. Partner, avoid intimacy after orgasm. Strange behavior during sex. Most of the results were about normal relationship issues, performance anxiety, emotional disconnection, fear of intimacy. But then, I found something that made my blood go cold. A forum post from a woman describing almost exactly what I was experiencing. Her boyfriend would fake sleep immediately after she climaxed, every single time. The responses to her post were disturbing. Girl, run. This is not normal. My ex used to do this. Find out later, he was recording me without my knowledge and selling the video. This sounds like he's using you for something and doesn't want to deal with the aftermath. But one response stood out from the onset for me. My sister went through this. Turned out her boyfriend had some kind of fetish where he got off on women's pleasure, but was disgusted by them afterward, like he hated himself for being turned on. She found videos on his computer. He had been recording her and watching them back later, but only the parts where she was climaxing. The rest, he would delete it. I closed the laptop and sat in the darkness. Videos. I thought about all the times I had caught him staring at me with that strange expression. I thought about how perfectly timed his fake sleeping was. I thought about the look of disgust on his face in my recording. And I thought about his laptop, which he always kept password protected and never let me use them. The next day, Chidi went to visit his mother in Enugu. He would be gone for the weekend. I had never violated his privacy before, but I couldn't ignore what was happening anymore. His laptop was sitting on the table in our bedroom. I had seen him typing his password many times while I was getting ready for bed, though I had never paid attention before. Now, I tried to remember. It took me 4 times, but I got in. I went straight to his files and started looking through them. At first, everything seemed normal. Work, documents, photos of us together, music and movies. But then I found a folder labeled Personal that was hidden deep in his files. Inside that folder was another folder and another, like he was trying to bury something very, very deep. When I finally found what was hidden inside, I had to run to the bathroom to vomit. Videos, dozens of them. All of me, but not just videos of us having sex. These were edited, cut to show only the moments when I was climaxing, my face twisted in pleasure, over and over again. Some of the videos were slowed down, while others were zoomed in on my face. Some had my sounds isolated and amplified. There were folders organized by dates, by positions, by intensity of my reactions, and there were other things, screenshots of my face at the moment of orgasm, printed, and I couldn't even process what I was seeing. But the worst part was the timestamp. He had been recording me from our very first time together, before I had given any consent, before I even knew him well enough to trust him. He had been collecting me. I was still sitting on the bathroom floor when I heard his key in the door. He wasn't supposed to be back until Sunday, but it was only Saturday afternoon. Nkem, he called. I'm home early. I heard his footsteps moving through the house. Then they stopped. Nkem, where are you? I could hear him in the bedroom now. Then silence. He had seen his laptop open. Nkem, His voice was different now, flat. We need to talk. I locked the bathroom door and tried to think. My phone was in the bedroom. My keys were in the sitting room. I was trapped. I know you found the videos, he said through the door. His voice was calm, which somehow made it more terrifying. Why? I whispered. Open the door, Nkem. Why did you record me? I heard him sitting down against the door. Because you are beautiful when you come, he said quietly. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Then why do you pretend to sleep? Why do you look at me like you hate me? The silence stretched for a very long time. Because after I see you like that, I can't stand to look at you normally, he finally said. You become too real, too human. It ruins it. My stomach turned again. Ruins what? The fantasy in the video. You are perfect. You are just pleasure, just beauty. But afterwards, when you want to cuddle and talk, you are just a person, and I don't want you to be a person. I slid down the bathroom wall until I was sitting on the floor. That's sick, Chidi. I know, he said, but I can't help it. And I can't stop watching the videos. I watch them every day, Nkem. Sometimes, I watch them while you are sleeping right next to me. Open the door, he said again. We can work this out. No! Nkem, I love you. No, you don't. You love videos of me. There is a difference. I heard him standing up. If you don't open this door, I'm going to break it down. My hands were shaking as I opened the bathroom window. We were on the ground floor. Thank God, I could climb out. Think about this, Nkem, he was saying. Where are you going to? What are you going to tell people? That your boyfriend thinks you are too beautiful when you orgasm? I was halfway out the window when I heard him trying the door handle. No one will believe you, he continued. And even if they do, what crime have I committed? Recording my own girlfriend? Lots of couples do that. I dropped to the ground outside and started running. Nkem, I heard him calling from inside the house. Come back. We can delete the videos. We can start over. But I was already at the gate, already calling my sister with my neighbor's phone. Amara, I said when she answered, I need help. Please come and get me. What happened? You are right to be worried. I said while looking back at the house where I had lived for 3 months, where I had thought I was building a life with someone who loved me. He wasn't pretending to sleep because he was tired. I could see him at the window now, watching me. Even from this distance, I could see that expression on his face, the one I had caught glimpses of, but never understood. He wasn't looking at me like a person he loved. He was looking at me like I was something he owned, something he collected, something he used. I'm on my way, Amara said. Don't go back in that house. I won't, I said. But as I was waiting for her to come, I couldn't stop thinking about all the women who might not be as lucky as I was. All the women who might not notice the pattern, or might not trust their instinct, or might not have a way to escape. All the women who might think that love is supposed to feel like being collected instead of being seen. I thought about the video still on his computer, still being watched, and I thought about how he had called me paranoid when I asked simple questions about strange behavior. How many women, I wondered, had been told they were paranoid when they were actually being haunted. 6 months later, I was sitting in Detective Okafor's office while she was explaining the charges to me. The fluorescent lights were humming above us, and I was trying to focus on her words instead of the way my hands were shaking. We found over 200 videos, she said gently. Not just of you. There were 3 other women before you. My stomach dropped. Are they okay? We are still contacting them, but yes, they are safe now. I had gone to the police 2 weeks after I escaped. It took me that long to walk up to the courage, and Amara had to come with me because I was too scared to go alone. What happens now, I asked. He's been charged with recording without consent and stalking. His lawyer is trying to get a plea deal, but we are pushing for jail time. I nodded while staring at my hands. 6 months of therapy, and I was still working on believing that none of this was my fault. There is something else, Detective Okafor said. He had an account on several websites where he was sharing the videos. We are working with the platform to get them removed, but they are out there. Some of them, Yes, I'm sorry. I had known this was possible. Dr. Adebayo, my therapist, had prepared me for it, but hearing it still felt like a punch to my chest. The important thing is that he can't hurt anyone else now. And the other women, they all deserve to know what happened to them too. 3 weeks later, I was having coffee with Amara when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, is this Nkem? A woman's voice, hesitant. Yes, my name is Chioma. Detective Okafor gave me your number, she said. She said you might understand what I went through. I looked at Amara, who was watching me with concern. With Chidi, I asked quietly. Yes, her voice broke. I thought I was going crazy. The way he would just disappear right after. I kept asking myself what I was doing wrong. You weren't doing anything wrong, I said, and I meant it. None of us were. We talked for an hour. She had been with him for 2 years before me, and her story was almost identical to mine. The fake sleeping, the strange look, the gaslighting when she tried to ask questions. I'm starting a support group, she told me, for women who've been through this kind of thing. Would you be interested? I looked at Amara, who was nodding encouragingly. Yes, I said, I think I would. 1 year later, our support group had grown to 12 women. Not all of them were Chidi's victims. Some had been through similar experiences with other women, but we are all learning the same lesson, that our instinct had been right all along. I was telling my story to a new member, a young woman named Grace, who was shaking as she spoke about her boyfriend's strange behavior. The thing is, I said to her, you are not paranoid. You are not imagining it. If something feels wrong, then it probably is. But how do I know for sure? She asked. You trust yourself, said Chioma, who was sitting across from us. That's the hardest part, but it's the most important part. I nodded. I spent so long thinking I was the problem, that I was too sensitive, too suspicious, too demanding. But the truth is, love isn't supposed to make you feel like you are being collected. Grace was crying now, but she was also listening. Love is supposed to make you feel seen. I continued. Not performed, not recorded, not turned into someone else's fantasy. Dr. Adebayo, who was facilitating our group, smiled at me. I had come so far from the woman who had climbed out of that bathroom window. What helped you the most? Grace asked. Realizing that I am not his fantasy, I said, I am a whole person. I have thoughts and feelings and dreams and fears. I'm not just the moment when I climax. I'm not just my pleasure. I looked around the room at all these strong women who had survived similar horrors. We are not their fantasies, I said. We are real. We are human. And we deserve to be loved for all of who we are. Not just the parts that someone else finds exciting. 2 years later, Chidi was sentenced to 18 months in prison and 3 years probation. He would also have to register as a sex offender. The day the verdict came down, I was at work when Detective Okafor called me. It's over, she said simply. I hung up and sat quietly at my desk for a moment. Then I called Amara. It's over, I told her. How do you feel? I thought about it for a moment. Relieved, but also sad, I guess. Not for him, but for the person I thought he was, for the life I thought we were building. That's normal, she said. You are allowed to grieve what you thought you had. That night, I was looking through old photos of us together, trying to understand how I had missed the sign. But Dr. Adebayo had taught me that this wasn't productive. Some people are very good at hiding who they really are. What mattered now was that I had trusted my instinct. I had asked questions when something felt wrong. I had left when I discovered the truth. And I have saved myself. And maybe by sharing my stories, I had helped save others too. Till date, I still have nightmares sometimes. I still feel anxious when I'm intimate with someone new. But I'm healing. I'm dating someone now, a man named Emeka, who thinks I'm beautiful when I laugh, when I'm angry, when I'm sleepy in the morning. He thinks I'm beautiful when I'm just being human. He stays present during our most intimate moments. He looks at me with love, not hunger. He sees me as a person, not a performance. And when I climax, He holds me afterwards and whispers my name like it's something precious, like I'm someone worth staying awake for. The support group continues to meet every week. We've helped dozens of women recognize the sign, trust their instinct, and leave dangerous situations. Sometimes, I think about those videos that might still be out there somewhere. It used to make me feel ashamed, but now it makes me angry, not at myself, but at a world that taught me to feel ashamed of my own violation. I'm not his fantasy. I never was. I am Nkem. I'm real and I'm whole. And I'm not going to pretend to be anything less than that for anyone ever again. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to share this story with your family and your friends who might love to see them. Till I see you again in my next story. Goodbye.